An epic war of big D versus little d. LGBTQ plus and all of Orlando stands with big Disney, not little DeSantis. The editorial board of the Orlando Sentinel has published a scathing takedown of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for what it described as his, quote, foolish, petty, and ultimately selfish political vendetta, end quote, against Disney. DeSantis has made it clear he is unwilling to relent in his feud with the entertainment giant, which all began with Disney's opposition to DeSantis's Don't Say Gay law. The Sentinel's board skewered DeSantis for gearing up to expend even more effort on battling Disney, saying he wants to waste money, quote, on a small army of very expensive attorneys, end quote, instead of actually serving the people of Florida. The board wrote, quote, focus on your actual job, end quote. The Sentinel Editorial Board also infused some humor into its editorial, accusing the governor of allowing his, quote, inner Donald, end quote, to govern his actions. Quote, in this case, we mean Donald Duck, end quote. And the board continued. The editorial board said DeSantis is living in a fantasy land where he cast himself as the hero and also lambasted his repeated missteps. It also called out DeSantis for not paying attention to the public agreements Disney made to prevent DeSantis from taking the company's power. DeSantis has been ruthlessly mocked for being outplayed by Disney, but he has made it clear his war isn't going to end anytime soon. They concluded the editorial by writing, quote, so take your advice from the Queen. And in this case, we mean Queen Elsa. Let it go. So the issues here are really quite significant. The Orlando Sentinel, along with the Miami Herald, Tampa Bay Times, the Sun Sentinel here in Fort Lauderdale, 4 major newspapers in Florida. Orlando Sentinel is arguably, in terms of tourism, the most powerful newspaper in the world, followed by tourism interest. And for Central Florida, finally, Central Florida is really beginning to weigh in that this has gone too far. The editorial position will be widely embraced and endorsed by the tourism infrastructure in Central Florida, which is the largest single tourism infrastructure in the world. No other city. It's the largest tourism political base. The other thing that I think is really interesting about what the Sentinel has done, and now the weigh-in that tourism is going to pour right in and agree with the Orlando Sentinel, is that the governor is being so anti-business. Now, this may be an Achilles heel for DeSantis because he is trying to make the argument about woke coming to Florida and dying, and trying to make the argument in his election bid for next year that he made all the right decisions for business in Florida, which was good for Florida. This petty attack, which is what the Sentinel is suggesting, and tourism is going to follow right in on, could be an Achilles heel because it is suggesting, what is it you're gaining from the business attack?
Yeah, and what exactly are you doing, Ron DeSantis? Like, seriously, like, it's true. I have to agree completely. Do your freaking job, okay? Homeowners insurance have doubled. There is no place for renters to find places to live. All right. My FPL has gone up substantially. And when I did the research for it, I didn't have a vote in it. OK, that was DeSantis who just decided to make that happen. You know, do your freaking job instead of messing with the mouse.
And I think our joke, the big D versus the little.
So spot on, right? Like so spot on.
Right.
All puns aside and all these kind of other things, I'm really grateful for the Fourth Estate. Like, that is where I'm so happy that media, and I have to say, it's taken them a little bit to get there.
There's the one negative here.
Yeah, but I instead of kind of focusing, I'm always Mr. Negative or whatever on all these things. I don't know, I get it. But I'm really happy to see this now, and thank you to Orlando Sentinel for speaking out for what has really been a bonkers story. That is, and I've been writing about similar things for a while, and from a historical perspective, I also have been wondering what how he's going to frame this, because it does look very anti-business. And what he's largely kind of framed it as, like, it's corporate, what he called corporate wokeness, right? So that is, he kind of has put it all together under this umbrella term of what woke is or what woke isn't, whatever that is to him or isn't, who knows, right? Because it's not like he knows what that means. But that is, I would love to see more people speak out against this. And these big institutions, right? The Fourth Estate Matters, use that platform to tell people exactly what he's doing, because so many people remain uninformed, and it really needs to happen.
And isn't Disney doing this big LGBTQ convention coming up, like the counter?
The
They
largest in the world. This is an ongoing event that happens every year
In September.
Out Proud, and more than 5,000 are coming.
Oh, wow.
Why this convention? DeSantis is skating on thin ice, frankly, because what is happening is at this conference, those woke businesses, which, the 1,000 biggest businesses in the world are coming to Disney. And they come to talk about how their diversity and inclusion programs can improve and how they refine them. So they're going to talk about everything that Ron DeSantis doesn't want to talk about on the Disney property, and he continues to serve this up. So all of these diversity leaders, corporate CEOs, chairmen, vice presidents that lead up diversity at NBC or ABC or are all going to be talking about, why are you doing this? That's what's coming in September. One other interesting thing on this story, I'm curious what y'all think about this. His initial response was, wait, his board that he propped in has been crushed. The outgoing vote of Reedy Creek has basically preempted the silliness of the new board that he created. His immediate response is, well, we'll show them, because we'll invoke lots of new taxes on them, and we'll put tolls on the road. And Disney immediately said, wait, you're going to add tolls to visitors that visit your state? Because we don't participate in tolls in any way. So it doesn't affect our business. You're just punishing your consumers.
Yep.
It's insane to me. I mean, there's such a contradiction, right? So you cannot be both pro-business and then the business that argues against you, you go against it, right? And
Except for you.
Right, and it's showcasing the inconsistencies in their argument, which are all across reviews, by the way. This is not the only area in which they are inconsistent, but it just further shows that point you were talking about.
I'm curious of all of you, because this report, and we're part of the Fourth Estate, by the way.
I know.
We're doing it in our own community in LGBT. Who's going to win? At the end of the day, if you pull out your crystal ball and you go, big D of Disney, little d of DeSantis, who's going to win this
Disney.
argument?
Big D.
Big D. Happiness is going to win.
Yeah. Do you agree with that?
I do, and I actually think that could be one of the ways that he's taken down. I mean, it's one of, but I also will say capitalism will win. That is like, who are we kidding? And this kind of large, that is like one of the.
That's why.
Exactly, that's why. Statistics make this very clear. You know what's good for business? Diversity, right? Like that is like, it's not just like, this is why, the United Colors of Benetton kind of idea of diversity, which doesn't always mean, actually rarely means social equality. It barely ever translates to that. But diversity is good for business, because you know what capitalism doesn't care about? What you look like. If you have money,
And it's
or
green,
who you're
that's all that
sleeping with,
matters.
or who you're, if you've got money to spend, it wants your monies. And like that is, so it's really, really clear that what's going to win here is the bucks. And like Disney represents that for Florida. Ron DeSantis, I think, picked a really losing battle here.
Yeah.
And I think it's another good indication of how he's doing his in contact with his D.
Inner Donald.
His little Donald.
Little Donald Duck.
I think that this started out for him to be the typical
I don't wanna
political
think
football. They want to get. How do they think that they get their votes? They
You know-
throw the gays around and they throw the kids around and abortion and all that. And this just spiraled out of control.
You know, one of the
That's
things I
exactly-
also think
Yeah.
that's interesting in this story, and just very superficially, is one of the things that that I'm very, very fearful of DeSantis is he's a smart Donald Trump. And I've been saying this for the last couple of years from my perspective. This is the first time where I go, you're not so bright, dude.
Right?
I'm beginning to go, oh, wait, you're going to
have
carry
flaws.
this. So, yeah, I can see some flaws in your makeup now, and that's good
Yeah.
because we're going to tear you apart down the road because of it.
What's that expression?
Feather by feather.
Yes.
From your mouth to God's ears? Is that like the expression? Maybe we be correct about
All
this.
right, wait till the drag queens get a hold of you.
All right.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.